All right, everybody, here's your volume of cube video notes. So that's your video, so make sure you have your notes in front of you, and here we go. In class today, you worked on volume a little bit. And volume, remember, take a look at the picture here, is the space inside a three-dimensional shape. So we're 3D now, meaning it's not a flat surface, it has depth. And the volume is the space inside. So we're measuring that. We're measuring how much space it takes to fill something up. And a cube has to have all the sides, or when we talk about cubes, many times we refer to these sides as faces. We're saying all these faces are equal. They're the same. So we have a new formula for volume of a cube, and the formula is S cubed, and the S stands for side, so you might want to write that just so that you are clear. The S stands for sides, and it's sides cubed, so think about that. Okay, we've gotten to the point where we just learned that the power of 3 means cubed. Well, here's why. We are using the side, so let's show you this a little bit. One of the sides could be 8. Let's say this is the length. Let's say that this is the width, right? Length, width. They're both 8, and the height is 8. So we're multiplying 3 of the sides by themselves. Well, why do you think, why do you think we cube things, or we call that to the power of 3? The power of 3 is how we find volume of a cube, which is why we call anything to the power of 3 cubed. So it's S cubed, side cubed. So I go ahead and substitute the 8 in for the S. We know that 8 cubed means 8 times 8 times 8. Break down 2 of those 8s. 8 times 8 is 64. And 64 times 8, use your brain here a little bit. 8 times 6 is 48. So that means 8 times 60 is 480. And 8 times 4 is 32. So if we add 480 plus 32, there we go. 512 centimeters cubed. Realize that we're talking about cubic centimeters that are filling this up. We're going to spend a lot of time in class talking about what that means. So we're filling a space up. Keep that in mind. So the next one on your notes looks like this. I'd like you to stop the video and try this one yourself. All right, so I substitute the 12 in. 12 times 12 times 12. If I do 12 squared, that's 144. And you should have done 144 times 12, and you get 1,728 cubic inches. All right, feel free to go back and check that with yours. Next one we're filling up. Looks like so. So now we have half a mile. Realize that MI is for miles. If it was just plain old M, it'd be meters. We're talking about miles here. So you got a fraction. So we're going to substitute the 1/2 in for the S. And so we've got 1/2 cubed, which means 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Quick reminder here, when you multiply fractions, you multiply the numerators and you multiply the denominators. So 1 times 1 times 1, the numerators, that's 1, pretty simple. And the denominators, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So we get 1/8 cubic miles, or 1/8 miles cubed. And this one I'd like you to try on your own. That's the very last one, so hit pause and go for it. So we're filling this guy up. So we've got side cubed. We substitute the 2/5, so we got 2/5 cubed. Realize I'm just putting parentheses in here because it's a little clearer than with the one we just did. So if you go back here, this might be a little confusing, the 1/2 and the 3 kind of floating up there. So for this one, I thought I would put in parentheses, just telling you that it's 2/5 times 2/5 times 2/5. Hopefully that's a little easier to read. All right, same deal. We're going to multiply the numerators. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And then the denominators, 5 times 5 is 25. And 5/4 is 125. So 8 over 125, and we're talking about kilometers, cubic kilometers. So feel free to go back wherever you need to. That is your volume of cubes.